Democrats need to buck up, look at the threat, and fight against that threat and stop fighting against each other. Our democracy depends on it, and time is up.
Take a chill pill and understand that a lot of what we saw is already baked in with a lot of Americans.
This is a PM update. More on both those clips after this. Yes, if you want to fight, if you want to learn how to chill out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We need more subscribers, and ringling that dingling bell for all the notifications on our upcoming videos. Yes, both of those positions are what Democrats need to look at now. Fighting, but relaxing when it comes to the day-to-day. Campaigns, things change. You have good days, you have bad days, you have good weeks, you have bad weeks. But what's very clear is we know what we're up against. We know the man on the other side. We know the party on the other side and what they represent. And that's what we're fighting against. So we have to get out of the trenches with other Democrats. We can make our points. We can stand up for the side that we believe in. But the real threat is Donald Trump, the ridiculous, the insane Donald Trump. So let's look at a little more detail about what that fight entails and why it's wasted on inter-party battles.
Biden steps aside. What now? Have we seen how Democrats handle open conventions or anything close to that? Do we remember 1968 when Johnson decided not to run again? How did that end? That ended with the election of Richard Nixon. Did we see 1980 when jittery Democrats thought maybe that Ted Kennedy can come to the rescue? How did that end? With the inauguration of Ronald Reagan. Even in 2016, not an open convention. Hillary Clinton won it. I was there in Philadelphia when you had so many Bernie Sanders delegates booing and crying and vetching as she accepted the nomination, many of those doing things like voting for Jill Stein. And how did that end? With the election of Donald Trump. Jill Stein got more votes in Michigan than the difference between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in that state. Democrats don't do that well. What Democrats need to do is take a page from Republicans and say, we understand the existential threat that we are facing. We are seeing a presidential candidate who already is saying he will be a dictator from day one and who believes, falsely, but he believes it, that the Supreme Court just gave him absolute immunity. We have a president who cognitively bragged about being able to say person, man, woman, camera, TV, but who stood on television and told everyone to inject disinfectant and is now doing campaign rallies about, electrical currents and sharks. And nobody is doing an hour-long press conference asking him about that, the way we saw the hour-long press conference asking 1,000 ways about Joe Biden's cold. Democrats need to buck up, look at the threat, and fight against that threat and stop fighting against each other. Our democracy depends on it, and time is up.
Well, I don't know if time is up, but time is of the essence. And as stated in that clip, we know who we're up against. It's not Joe Biden, is it? It's not a 90-minute debate. It's this guy. Imagine the hours and hours and hours of insanity he spews. And we're debating about 90 minutes when one guy had a cold and was a little tired. Is that seriously what we're talking about? Tearing our hair out over that issue? And the fascinating thing is it's really premature because the state of the race isn't what you might think it is. And having this discussion at this time just doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's look at Michael Steele dealing with that.
First, I'll just, for the record, say I think this conversation at this stage is way out of bounds of where this thing ultimately is. For national head-to-head polls, pre-debate had Joe Biden down to Donald Trump 43 to 46. Post-debate, it's 42 to 46. He lost a point since last Thursday. Take a chill pill and understand that a lot of what we saw is already baked in with a lot of Americans. Between Thursday and today, Joe Biden has lost 1 point in average national polling. And so if this was hell on fire, burn the walls down, 10 alarm fire for the campaign, that number would be a hell of a lot bigger than 1 point.
Yeah, the number would be a hell of a lot bigger than 1 point. And I've seen people who are trying to foment chaos in the campaign, suggesting somehow that number is bigger, doing some fancy mathematics with statistics. It's in the margin of error. It's where the race was a month ago. It's where the race was 6 months ago. We know what the situation is here. We have to fight, and we can't, as I think I stated earlier, we can't get caught up in the everyday. We just can't. The everyday is going to change. The press is going to do what they do. They're going to ask. They're going to ask a million ways how Joe Biden had a cold. They're going to do all that. What we've got to do is fight the real enemy in this race and realize that this is authoritarianism versus democracy, and we're on the side of democracy. So remember, don't wait. Donate to Permanent Majority at permanentmajority.us. There's also a link in the description on this video.